welcome to our NAU ACM meeting today. If you don't already know me, it's the third time. I'm Joseph Remy, I'm the Vice President of NAU ACM. And today we're just going to talk about just random enrollment tips and tricks and some career opportunities and how to find those and at least get started in finding those. So it's finding success from the classroom to your first job. Alright, so start off with just a statistic. How many of you guys are CS majors? How many of you guys are EE majors? How many of you guys are other? Maybe some other major. What's your major?
Mechanical.
Mechanical? Okay, so you're still on Cephins, that's good. You were just raising your hand for no reason. Alright, so this is the most recent statistic. So 18.1% of all students that start in the School of Informatics, which is computing, cyber systems, and which is computer science and EE primarily, only 18.1% of students will actually graduate within 4 years. And that's with starting in the school. So if you, in the second one is if you just transfer in, you necessarily didn't start out as a CS or EE major, but you just transfer in and you found it to be your niche. This is public information. I cited it down. You can fool around with it. You can see what the graduation statistics if you want. But if only this minority of people graduate within 4 years, how can we improve that? How can we do better in general and make the enrollment process maybe one of the harder things in college an easier process overall? So today, just going over at first just some enrollment tips and tricks. How do we know where you're at, searching for the best courses and evaluating professors and grade distributions to find what's best for you? So you don't have to stress about enrolling and trying to find the best professors. You just find the best ones where you can excel the most. So this is going to be talking a lot about self-advising. It's not necessarily for everyone. A lot of people still will want to go to an advisor, or go to friends, or go ask around. So don't take it for granted. Make sure that you kind of ask around and don't have a false sense of security, oh yeah, I 100% know what I'm doing. That's not necessarily the case all the time. So let's begin. So obviously, if you've made it this far, you've already looked at the academic catalog. You've already seen okay, I can find what courses specifically, see maybe what prereqs I need, that sort of stuff. You can find progression plans, maybe even find other majors, minors, or certificates that you're interested in. So that's this catalog at NAU.edu. It just looks like this. It's just really simple. You can go by, for the academic catalog, you go based off of what year you started. You can find any policies. You can find fees that outline whatever and such. So how do you just find your progression plan? You just go to that link, catalog at NAU.edu/progression plans, and pick the one that's based off of the year you started. So if you started fall 2015, you'll do 2015 to 2016. You'll just find your degree. So for me, in CS, mine's labeled 4-year progression plan dash classic, because there's other flavors of CS. And then, and then it opens up a page to a basic okay, this is what you need to take, or this is what you should take. It has all your requirements already pre-filled in. It considers prereqs and whatnot. And it just kind of gives you an outline of what you should do. So it tries to keep you on track. It accounts for prereqs and co-requisites. So that's classes you can take together, or the stepping stones that you have to take. And then sometimes it accounts for course difficulty. So I looked at the one for me, the last term for computer science, my senior year, my spring term. It says take capstone, and then there's a couple electives and then a liberal studies course. It tries to make it as easy as possible while keeping full time. And then some negatives. Of course, it's not the best for recommendations. Sometimes a course is offered every term, and it's easier just to go take maybe a course in the fall instead of taking it in the spring like the progression plan says. You might find a better professor, and you might work with the course load. And then there's also the spring only, fall only. It doesn't always account or isn't always available, or classes do change. And then, of course, times change, so things are never consistent 100%. So crucial, just the academic advisory report. It's a machine telling you what you need to take, not a human. So it's not incorrect unless the whole system is incorrect, you know what I mean? I've never had an issue with this. If I go to an advisor, they might say some lies or something that they didn't mean to say incorrectly. But if I go look at my academic advisory report, it's 100% correct, unless, again, the system is at fault. So just outlines literally every requirement for every major, every minor, and every certificate that you've declared. It shows you exactly what courses fit in where, whether it's a transfer, maybe an AP test, a dual enrollment, or just a standard NAU course. And then just to get there, you just go from the homepage of Louis, you just go to My Academics and view advisory report, and it's just a sample of that's shown on the right. So here's an example. You can tell these are two completely different requirements where a course actually double dips or satisfies two separate requirements. So you just tell by the light blue how it's a requirement 48050 or 4850. I'm taking Math 220 right now, which satisfies the 6 units of math or natural science electives, and it shows exactly what the prefixes are for that. And then also on the right side for the math minor, it shows that, hey, for your 200 level of 8 to 10 units of math or stats courses, it also satisfied that requirement there. So you can actually double dip a lot of your courses, or even triple dip if you can get lucky. And that means less courses that you have to take overall. So just scheduling classes, we're going to talk about some built-in tools that you probably already know about, some internal tools that may help you, and then just external tools that you use a lot, or at least I use a lot. So just about these, just the general searching tips for when you're going on LUI. Don't just search by course number. It's not necessarily the best merit, or it's just the best way to start searching. I personally use advanced filters. If I have a professor in CS I specifically want to go for, I find by the professor's last name. If there's maybe some sort of course I want, so like I need to take a math at the 200 level and above, I'm going to search for the math at 200 level and above. I'm not just going for all math. I want to narrow it down where I can, but also refine and enrich the search while I'm going through the process. And then you can also find courses by requirement. So I'm like, okay, I need to take this liberal studies course, double dip with this thing. There's actually a field right in there that's a drop down. It's like, hey, you can take these two. You can just select that. It'll show you every single course possible where you can possibly double dip your requirements. And then how many of you guys are familiar with Jack's Planner and Jack's Scheduler? All right, so most of you, good. So obviously, the planner, it's the digital version and a machine that works with you based on your course requirements. So it's an automated process of trying to get you, hey, here's your progression plan on LUI, and I'm going to try to schedule you based off of what you've already done and what you still have to do. And that's literally just Jack's Planner right on the home page of LUI. And then the scheduler helps you with semester to semester. So say if I have to take Math 316 in Jack's Planner, it'll actually show me, it'll actually curate like a set of schedules that may work. So it helps find your classes easier because you can import directly based off of what you've already found, plus find courses that will match your schedule. It'll also auto-generate schedules where there's no conflicts. So if there's 30 sections of Math 316, I'm not going to manually go through 30 sections of Math 316. I'm going to let the system tell me, like, hey, here's 8 schedules that work for you. You can take it at 8 a.m., you can take it at 10 a.m., you can take it at 12, whatever. It will help auto do your schedule for you. You can also block out times, like say, I don't want any Friday classes. If there's no conflicts, it will return you a schedule. And then it transfers directly into your enrollment. You just say transfer, and then you're already in your shopping cart and you're ready to wake up at 7 a.m. and hit the enrollment button. So this is a really nifty internal tool I found my freshman year, I believe. I don't remember how I stumbled upon it, but I thought it was a pretty good idea to talk about it. So Pair Reports is the internal reporting system for NAU. They have to report all grade distributions, all graduation related like rates and all that sort of stuff. So it's all public knowledge. So you can find professors that have taught at NAU, see if they're new or maybe if they've been teaching class consecutively for years or terms. See past grade distributions, maybe see like how well you did compared to everyone else. Maybe you took a really bad class and it'll show that on the Pair Report. Or maybe you're trying to find a really good class with a really good grade curve, and you can do that as well. It's not always accurate. Professors can curve the grades and will, and it may entice you that it's a better class, but you do have to kind of take it with a grain of salt. And then obviously just compare A's, B's, and C's with D's, F's, and W's. Obviously if there's more D's and F's, you don't want to go for that class. And then the direct link is that right at the bottom, which I'll include at the end of the presentation, or you could literally just type in NAU Pair Reports and it will come up on Google or whatever. So here's an example. Here's all of the Pair Reports for all the CS and EE courses for fall 2017. So for example, I guess I'm neglecting these people here. So there's CS 460. I'm like, okay, I wanted the 18 Bs in that class. So it looks like it was a bit rigorous. Not everyone got an A. Not everyone got D's and F's though. So it's kind of weighted towards people are passing, but not necessarily getting like A's, B's, and C's directly. And then I can also look like, oh look, there's an EE course taught by Coulter, or Nakai as it goes by. And he's got a really good grade curve. Maybe I'll take that EE course as like an elective or something that might be useful towards my major. And then just an external tool that I use all the time is Rate My Professors. It's a decent gauge, you know, for finding professors. People can rate professors literally based off of overall quality, which is determined by their level of difficulty and like maybe how likable or dislikable the professor is. So, for example, I have Nakai's Rate My Professor up, and there is one glaring issue with this one. And it's necessarily that there's only 2 student ratings. There's things you have to look for. You'll either see a lot of hate, a lot of love, or just not enough reports on the professor you're currently taking, so you kind of have to roll with it.
There's a lot of hate.
What's hotness?
Come again?
What's hotness?
Hotness? Okay. So, I knew
chili pepper.
but boy, did I not prepare for it. So, professors, it's kind of like just telling you, hey, is this teacher really likable? They're going to be hot on freaking Rate My Professor. And then you'll know that's like
They're feisty.
Why are you lying?
He's lying. It means that
it's
the people who rated him thought he was good looking.
Bangable, as they say.
Oh
my God.
Why just children watch?
I said 5 out of 5 on hotness, man.
No, that's like how he is overall from 2 ratings.
Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
red pepper, so I guess
Chili pepper.
that's fair.
Nara, would it be a pill?
Oh god.
Oh, God.
Alright, we're gonna
But yeah,
continue.
we're going to keep moving on. So, yeah, you have all these tools, but above all, you just need to ask. If you're not sure about a requirement, go out and ask someone. It could be friends, it could be people in your major, your advisor, your professors. I don't necessarily say that your family is 100% the best gauge, because it's ultimately up to you to figure out what you need to do to get your stuff done and to graduate. But if you had like family members that are really supportive and they really care about you and they're like really able to help you, go ahead. But these are really the references I use personally if I really need to get some clarification on requirements or if I need help with my advising. And that was starting out. Nowadays it's not too bad. I have a system that's just kind of automated. I go top down usually. And then yeah, of course, again, if you're unsure of something, just ask someone and try to get some sort of like discussion about it. And then obviously, I know it's terrible, the system's a little crappy, but this is ultimately your friend, and it's the only way that you're going to be able to get through this in terms of the kind of, what's it called? Like being able to graduate, being able to enroll, being able to manage your finances, everything that's about you attending this institution is all through Louis. So you unfortunately do have to deal with it. So don't be overwhelmed by all the data it gives you. Most of it is pretty useful. Plan semester to semester, year by year, that's based off of your own sort of how you feel. Right now there's multi-term enrollment, so you can actually enroll. Yeah, it's terrible.
Boo.
So you get to enroll this summer. You could also do this fall, so that's still the same. But now you can also do winter and spring, so you have to do a whole year out, or you could just do it semester by semester. And there's pros and cons to both. We could talk about it later. And then using your advising report, again, there's different requirements. Different requirements allow for courses to satisfy multiple things, and it's more accurate than humans. You can always go back to it and be like, I can trust the information it's giving me, hopefully. And then the explicit information about everything. So if I need to be like, oh, what does the math and natural science elective means? Oh, it's a 200 level above with these prefixes. And then obviously, like I said, used for enrollment, graduation, managing your finances, holds, to-dos, all that fun stuff.
That's where your parking ticket goes if you're linked into the system.
Ooh, the more you know, right? Anywho, so we have just gonna talk a little bit about internships and career opportunities, just how to find, apply, interview, and eventually and hopefully accept a job offer. So it's kind of just light stuff. So this is primarily just getting you in the right direction, not necessarily going all the way through the interview process, not necessarily going all the way through accepting a job offer, but just getting you started, because most of us, are we juniors, seniors mostly? Freshmen, sophomores? Anywho, like for juniors, you do want to try to apply for summer internships and try to do that. And then if you're seniors, obviously you're already looking for jobs. So these are the tools that we have available. So obviously nau.joinhandshake.com, that's where people locally post, and there's all sort of job listings and career fairs I posted on there. We also found this email that we got, the cryptic email that we got the other day from aftercollege.com that actually lists all the all the internships and post-graduation jobs that are actually available right now. We just found this out, and you can see a screenshot of it to the right, so we can see like, oh, Intel is hiring in Phoenix for a software engineering internship. Maybe I'll apply for that. Other ways, we also have careers.google.com/jobs. That's all jobs, it's not directly just only things at Google. And then obviously, the best ones that I've at least personally had are like everything down. So career fairs, I've used Handshake a little bit. They post like the fall and spring career fairs, like the one that happened today. And then just going through NAU directly, they have their own career fairs as well. And then other networking is like going to hackathons or events where companies are present. They're not 100% guaranteed to be offering internships, but it's good to network them to get a connection built. And then, of course, like club meetings. So if a club has the company coming in, that's also a good opportunity. And then lastly, emails. Like we sent one out for USGS. We're going to try to send it out again because there's a missing PDF. But also through email, you can find job opportunities. Yeah.
So just a little bit of advice for a lot of people. When you're looking for internships, it is never too early to start looking. A lot of companies will start posting internships for the summer in August or September because there are some companies that need to have you go through some kind of security check, or some companies that just want to have a process that's sort of very thorough. So typically the two biggest times for job postings are somewhere around the end of December, start of January, and then leading through February. And then the other big season for it is sort of August through the start of October. So I'd always recommend checking for jobs around then, and it's never too early to start. Most companies always have something posted. So
Yeah. So so like the career fair that happened in the fall, it happens like the first week of October, second week of October, right when like all the applications start opening up. A lot of federal and government positions open up at that time, and that's where the bulk of like where you'll get your summer internships, because you apply in October for something that's going to happen in the summer. And then just some general tips. For us in CS, we have to take English 302W, technical writing, and I think a lot of you other guys also have to take a technical writing class. But for us, it's specifically like resume building, generating interview questions, practicing for that, writing business-related like memos and letters and stuff, and that's a good step in the right direction, especially when you have to start obviously building a resume if you don't already have one, or revamping one that you already got for job for either internships or jobs or scholarships or whatever you need it for.
And take it with Gula.
Mark Gula. Take it with Mark Gula.
Man. Oh boy.
Oh man, I took it with Mark Gula.
Best class in college.
But yeah, you also, I guess with us, we also learned a lot of like life skills as well. Being like how to like network with people, how to talk, and how to branch out in that regard as well. So practice for job interviews. Get yourself in the zone. You want to be happy and like kind of energized that you're actually there. You want to show that you're a human. You want to be humble. You want to connect. You want to just kind of, you don't want to be slumped over. You don't want to be like really tired or dragged out or maybe fatigued or not feeling like you want to actually have the job that you're trying to apply for. And then just be honest. Show that you yearn to learn.
Yearn to
So
learn.
don't lie, obviously. And then grit. Don't give up. Try again. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and you'll get shot down several times, or a lot. But in the end, you're eventually going to find. I
feel better.
I hear it from a lot of people. I know people that get shot down a lot for these internships, but they keep trying anyways, and I know that they'll eventually find something that they'll like yes around.
How many did you get shot down from?
I'm gonna discuss that because it's probably zero.
Damn, Joseph's just so high.
No, but honestly, yes, yeah, it's good to talk about it. So connections, obviously, I'm going to talk about how I got my Lawrence Livermore National Lab job offer. I literally just accepted it yesterday. So that process actually started at the career fair. I didn't really know about Lawrence Livermore, and I wasn't really sure what they were about. So I went to the career fair, learned more, got to meet a couple people, and we just talked about CS and just stuff that I was interested in. And then eventually we got into, I just turned in a resume, and I got a mock interview the next morning in engineering. And then I hashed it out with them. We did like a mock technical interview and everything, and they were like, wow, we really like you. You should apply for the computation internship. So I was like, all right, sounds good to me. And then fast forward to about January, I got my an actual job, like a pending job offer from my mentor, and I applied for that. And then we got an interview, and I got to meet the team over phone, and then I got to do 1 hour of which was just a general interview. Just be like, oh, how does this relate to this? Or like, how did you show leadership in Boy Scouts or whatever the heck is on your resume? You just talk about that and your education, that sort of stuff. And then it was an hour of technical interview of like, okay, go through this coding assignment and show that you can talk through the problem, you can ask questions if you're not sure, and just, they want to see your thought process overall. So that was pretty cool. And then literally yesterday I got the call for the job offer and I have to, oh god, I have to do so much paperwork. So yeah, I officially got a job offer finally, just going through that whole process. It is kind of tedious because it's a national laboratory, but I finally make it, and I believe that everyone in this room totally can get an internship or the career that they're looking for.
That was inspiring.
Yes.
What are they about?
Cry.
So, one of the more national laboratories in the Bay Area of California. They work with the Department of Energy to do research projects. So they have like a weapons directive. They have just random directives that take care of like, one of them was like high energy density physics projects. And they just do a culmination of just random research. One of the most recent ones I'm trying to remember was trying to do an automated system for restoring a power grid when a section goes offline. So say the power goes off in Flag, but we have 2 power plants that can power it, then it'll automatically take over and try to redirect power so there's no like actual like outage or whatever. So it's trying to be like a more sustainable system. So like if one power plant goes down, not the whole like county or country goes down, you know what I mean? So they kind of just do all sorts of random projects like that. And yeah. Yes.
Just to make another general comment, if you're interacting with a company and you go to a career fair or something like that, it is best to do your research on them beforehand, because I've seen people walk up and if you go up to a company and you say, so tell me what you do, what are you about, then they'll give you the spiel, but they're assuming that that you're a responsible, informed, wannabe employee. So if you go up and you don't ask them what they are about, but you walk up and you tell them a fact that you know about them, like, hey, I noticed on your website that you guys are using Java enterprise solutions. Can you tell me more about this or more about that? Then you're sparking a conversation that's more interesting. You don't want to be the person that goes in uninformed, especially if you want a job. Specifically, look at what people are going there. Find out information that you can about them, because a lot of us last semester, we went to that career fair and we talked to companies not only at the career fair, but within a couple weeks afterwards. So like I got a call from Cigna, and I had never really did anything with Cigna or really heard about them. So maybe like 30 minutes before an interview or like a phone interview or whatever, look it up and at least know what you're talking about, so they don't ask you some questions like, why would you choose to do like technology in like a health company? And then you just kind of go, didn't know you were a health company. Like that's never a good sign. And don't be discouraged if they don't reach out to you like immediately, because some companies like State Farm hopped on a bunch of people like within a week, I would say. And then Lawrence Livermore, like he got an interview the day after he spoke to them, and I spoke to them. They didn't set up an interview with me. Applied online, did a whole bunch of stuff, and literally 3 months later, after I'd already accepted something, they give me a call. So it's like you never know when they're gonna call, but you can always be prepared for it. So
Yeah, totally.
just think about it that way.
Yeah, like I said, my application was in October, and they're actually not supposed to be, they start offering you positions, but they don't actually, they start listing positions, but they didn't actually start the process till January to March. That's a pretty big window of when they're still accepting applicants and starting to turn over people as work interns and whatnot. So don't be discouraged. It can be a timely process, and just be patient. Maybe send a follow-up if you need to, if you feel like you're lost in the system or have lost disconnected with the company you're trying to get an internship with, just as long as you're not too pushy, of course. So yeah, it's just the end of my presentation. Maybe we'll look at some examples on I find some stuff and how I determine if a class is good or not. I'm not trying to discourage people from taking the professors that they want or slamming professors right on our live stream right now. But I will definitely show you guys some of the websites that I use, just hands-on. Any questions, comments, concerns?
What's your favorite class?
My favorite class.
English 302W.
Google.
English 302W. I took them, spring? Yeah, last spring. Oh man, that was a good class and a good decision because I had like a lot of other stuff going on. Yeah.
Just a heads up to everyone that as of now it's just a rumor, but apparently a recruiting representative for Raytheon is coming to the next IEEE meeting.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Food for thought.
IEEE.
Yes.
This is a bit of a leading question, since I know not all of us are juniors, seniors, have the greatest experience with the Louis program, but how would you recommend for people like CS majors who don't have too many electives to find ways around like having to take like the most difficult elective courses that exist, or like just alternatives to the standard electives.
Okay, let me think. I just want to make sure I can totally show you it, and I've actually went through the process literally last night with Gennaro. I'm just trying to think of how to do it without accidentally disclosing any sensitive information. So maybe we'll
I'm
start-
trying to lead you into something like
'Cause,
saying
like-
that there's research and that you can ask professors for research for.
Oh, you mean
credits.
in major electives, or do you mean like tech electives or math, natural science electives?
Why not all of them?
All of them?
You can
Alright.
do any of them.
So I guess for CS, and I guess it applies to EE. I haven't heard about it too much because I don't know too many seniors that are in that program. But one of the greatest options I probably one of the greatest decisions I've probably ever made in my academic career at NAU was going for undergraduate research. So for us, it's CS 485. I just talked to a professor. They were like, "Hey, I'm starting up research next term. Do you want to take it?" I'm like, "Yes," because most of the time it's kind of like what's it called? Kind of like a contractor in the sense like you get to kind of pick your own hours. You get to work with the professor on like what your weekly like objectives are, and you get to kind of structure the course in kind of how you want to based around whatever their team is about. So I'm currently in about doing a networking related project called IT Crowd. I'm one of the 3 segments of it, and I'm just doing like packet analysis and network analysis of trying to figure out like is this Facebook streaming? Is this general web traffic? Is this gaming with Xbox Live or Steam? That kind of stuff. So I get to meet with my partner like every week on Friday. Yeah, so tomorrow, and then we just talk with the professor, being like, "Hey, this is what we did today, or this week. This is the strengths, the weaknesses. This is what we actually got accomplished, and this is what we still need to work on." And it's very flexible because you don't actually have to meet every week. It just depends on how you guys flesh out the course. Very customizable. And then for general electives, I think we're probably going to just end the live stream here, and I'll just show. I'll just show you like how to use Louis and the pair reporting system and rate my professor to find like the best course for like double dipping or doing electives and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I guess we'll say goodbye to the live stream and we're good.
Bye. Bye, live stream.